Tune Into Care is produced in Meanjin, Brisbane on Toowoomba and Yuggera country. We acknowledge the traditional owners as the custodians of this land, and we pay our respects to elders past and present. Tune Into Care is brought to you by Wellways Carergateway. Carergateway is an Australian government initiative providing free services and support for carers. Now, if you've been out in the regions of Queensland or around the Blue Mountains, you may have seen a colourful Wanda van out on the road or parked up at a beach or picnic area, surrounded by people eating sausages, playing games, or just having a chat. This mobile support service has been started by Wellways to fill part of the service and support gap that is keenly felt by carers in regional and remote areas of Australia. The Wanda van is bringing some of those services and partner organisations to meet you where you are. A little later in this episode, we'll be joined by Louise Faulkner, who will talk us through this exciting new development. But in honour of this being a podcast centred around the experiences of carers, we thought we'd kick off with a chat with Alfina, a devoted mum and carer who could have really benefited from services like the Wellways Carer Hub and the Wanda van when her boy Aiden was born with a serious disability over 16 years ago. Alfina is a great example of someone who had to move away from her family and support network to get the medical care she needed for her son. I really hope you enjoy this chat as much as I did. Alfina, we'll kick it off. It's so nice to have you in here.
Thank you.
Who is Alfina? And how did you get to be involved with the Wellways Carergateway?
I started out just a daughter of a migrant, born in a country town. We had not much.
So you grew up in Stanthorpe. Your mum and dad,
Yes.
They emigrated from Italy into Stanthorpe.
Because I had other relatives that were living there, so they helped shape my dad's decision.
Yeah.
But Dad was always a worker.
Which most Italians were in that time, right? When they came out from that part of the world to here.
To give us a better life.
Yeah.
We made do.
Yeah, you did
And we grew up, I thought, in really well. They gave us the love that we needed. And then I went on my path to improve myself, as you do, because not a lot in a country town as in those days. And I wanted to see so much more. So I did a lot of things. But then I had Aiden, and when he was born, it spun my world out of control. But I had to take it, I had to digest it very quickly and go, right, what do I do?
Because Aiden was born with a very rare condition, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
We didn't know what it was. He stayed in the Gold Coast Hospital for 10 days. They did all the tests they could think of, and nothing. So they discharged us. So then I thought, well, I can't do this on my own, because he had a connective tissue disorder, which was it was very floppy. So you couldn't really hold him as such.
So then you went back to Stanthorpe with your mum and dad.
Yeah, I made the choice of going back, and I needed support.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't bar them without someone else holding him. There was a lot of things I was struggling with.
So he's 16 now. So this is, 16 going on maybe 17 years ago. Very different landscape at the time. Going back to Stanthorpe into a regional and remote community. How did you feel? Because it's not easy being a remote carer at that point because your son is so young. How were you feeling?
Well, I was feeling like, I couldn't feel. I couldn't think for myself. I had to think of, I wanted to be a mum so badly.
Yeah.
Like, my job was to look after him and to be his advocate, because he could not talk for himself. So I took it on, and I met a wonderful person through an organisation in Stanthorpe, and Geraldine, who was the OT there, very proactive and got me from A to B on a lot of things. I have been fortunate. I've run into some amazing people on my journey, And I can't thank them enough. Because it's like a door. It's like you get to that door and you're knocking as loud as you can because you want to be heard. There is something wrong and you just concentrate. And I just concentrated on Aiden, and I just let myself, I'm all right. I kept thinking, I'm all right, Aiden. So my goal was always Aiden. So
And you took the eye off looking after yourself?
yes. Yeah. I counted one particular year before, this was I think at 2 years old, 22 visits in one calendar year to come to Brisbane for various respiratory, dental, eyes, heart, so many things, because the connective tissue is our whole body. So you're tapping into so many different areas.
And he was under 2 years old. So the challenges you were facing trying to come from Stanthorpe into Brisbane.
Yes.
I mean, it's the time, it's the travel, it's the energy, it's all the things that just continue to mount up for you, isn't it?
Yes, it was always paperwork. Paperwork to come to Brisbane, paperwork at the hospitals. It was just constant. No one gave me a degree in paperwork, but
You've got one now.
but you get it. So then I decided the best thing, I didn't want to travel to Brisbane constantly, but I didn't want to live in Brisbane. And I needed to stay in the medical corridor. So we moved to Toowoomba before he started prep.
Did you feel let down at the time living in a regional area compared to had you have lived in Brisbane?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because when I moved to Toowoomba, that's where my journey started of looking at the carer side and I still didn't identify as a carer.
Why did you not identify as a carer?
Because I was a mum. That's a job you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to be getting any awards for it or anything. You're a mum.
So moving to Toowoomba in 2015 was a really important time for you because you got yourself closer to the medical corridor, obviously living in Toowoomba near a major hospital, but
Yes.
even closer to Brisbane. What impact did that have on your life and Aiden's life when you made that move?
Well, then we started to be by ourselves. It was our family unit. Didn't consist of Aiden's grandparents.
Yep.
It was me and him.
Yeah, okay.
It was still hard, but I started to have a bit of a life, like you do events with carers. So you'd tap into that carer world. That's your sounding board, and it's like directing you to go this way or that way. So it's like...
Which is so nice, though, that someone's there to help you like that.
Absolutely, because at that point, I'm still not educated in this world that way.
Do you remember when you finally were accepting of the term of carer?
I think more so when I became at burnout, I understood what I'd done to myself.
Yeah, you'd completely burnt yourself out.
Yeah. You don't have a lot of money. All your savings have gone. It was very hard. But I still managed. I still found a way around things, and but it's just the stress. The stress gets you. Like I'm stressed at the moment. And I think that having a hub now where we can go and relax, talk to someone is wonderful. I've utilised it 3 times in the last 2 weeks.
So is this what you do to bring down your stress now? You visit the Wellways Carer Hub there in Toowoomba?
Yeah, just to sit and have a cup of coffee with another carer and have a chat. Sometimes I don't like to go too in depth.
But it's nice to be able to have a space where you can go and not just be
Yeah.
talking about the medical things that you've got going on in the background.
Yeah, because they're constants,
Yeah.
and you really want to, be reminded you have to live through those.
Yes.
So you just want to have a space that you're just not thinking about that, have some fun, have a giggle.
You've been able to tap into all these other great services because you're now in Toowoomba. Although it is regional, you have the ability to pop into the hub, talk to Kate or talk to other people in there, whether it be other people who work with the carergateway, talk to other carers, but also doing these other coaching programs to learn and understand about things that you may not have understood about before.
Correct. Like, it's opening my eyes to me and what I need to be able to be here for longer, to look after Aiden for longer, to be a lot happier when I'm around Aiden and not just, tired constantly.
Do you have any advice or anything you'd like to share with other carers out there, and particularly for those who might be in regional or remote areas?
That we can be seen and we can be heard. Our job is important for our loved ones, and if we persist, we get rewarded. We get a good outcome. We get seen, we get heard. We can feel better within ourselves. We can be supported if we reach out. People don't know us if we don't talk. Talking is one of my biggest tools. I've always been a talker, and pushing boundaries. Push the boundary. Whether if you get a no, you get a no. But if you don't push it, you're not going to get a yes or a no.
What type of support have you had from the Wellways Carergateway, and how has it made a difference?
It's made me a bit stronger. I'm feeling more confident. I can see things a little bit clearer. I'm happier. Just being supported by them and having some wonderful ladies in there like Kate and Melinda at the hub. I've also seen out the back, I saw that they've got these new vans called Wanda.
The Wanda van.
Yes, and that will be so exciting to touch on remote, from Stanthorpe, where I'm from, for them to go down to Stanthorpe or St George or...
Because that's what it's designed to do.
Yes.
The Wanda Outreach van will be designed to go out and meet carers where they are and give the support.
Yes, because a lot of people don't know they're carers.
Yeah.
We don't identify that we're carers. Okay, in Stanthorpe you've got a majority that are a lot of migrants there, and they just think, well, I've got to care for my husband, or I've got to...
Which is like you said, it's a parent's responsibility, or it's a husband or wife's responsibility. And hopefully the Wanda Outreach van will allow people in the regional communities to get the support that they need there, and hopefully meet other people at the same time from around the remote area.
Yes, because when I've gone back there, I speak to some of the other people, and like their husbands may have had a stroke, or do you know that you're actually a carer? No, I'm his wife. But you're a carer as well, because you need to look after you, because if you cannot look after yourself, what good are you for someone that you're caring for?
Yeah. Alfina, you're an absolute gem. You're doing a great job.
I try.
Aiden is very lucky to have you as his mum. You're a pillar of strength for him, so you're doing really well. Thank you for coming down today.
No problems. I wouldn't have... Even if I can do one thing for anyone listening, we all do an amazing job caring for our loved ones, each and every one that goes through a journey. Every journey is different, but every one of us are pretty special.
You're very special. Thank you for chatting with us and thank you for sharing your story.
No problem. Thank you.
Alfina's story brings home just how many sacrifices carers have to make to get their loved ones the proper care, and that those sacrifices can be even more extreme for those who don't live in the major centres of Australia. Which is why I'm so delighted to introduce our next guest on today's podcast, Louise Faulkner, General Manager of Wellways Carergateway Services, and a major driving force behind the rollout of the Wanda vans across New South Wales and Queensland that Alfina talked about just a few minutes ago. Louise has been out in one of the Wanda vans in its early travels through Queensland, so is a great person to chat to about this program and why it's such a critical service for carers in regional and remote areas. Lou, it's great to have you in here today.
Thank you.
Let's start with the basics. How long have you been with Wellways Carergateway?
Yes, I've been with Wellways now for 3.5 years. And one of the things I admire most about Wellways is that 84% of the people who work in the Carergateway have a lived experience. So you have that understanding of what it's like to be a carer or have a caring experience. It might not necessarily be the same as the person beside you or the person who walks through the door, but I think it's a really good place to start.
Why does lived experience make a difference, do you think? Because carers can relate more to people who feel like they've gone through something similar?
I think so. Absolutely, it's part of that. I think it's also that deep understanding of all the, systemic barriers that come with accessing services and hoping to have your needs met. We've got large institutions that we need to deal with as carers every single day. So we have hospitals, we have NDIS, we have My Aged Care, and we need all of them. But we also need some support to access them.
We've spoken to the lovely Alfina, and a lot of the carers we've spoken to, they might live in capital cities or close enough to capital cities, but a lot of the carers live in regional and remote communities.
Yes.
And, there's challenges that they face that your team address daily, isn't there?
There is. This is has been the introduction of Wanda and some of our carer hubs that are dotted around Queensland and New South Wales. So Wanda, for anyone who's not familiar with her, well, him, is a beautifully decorated van that travels. We've got one that travels through Queensland and one that travels through Nepean Blue Mountains in New South Wales. These mobile hubs have been set up to address exactly that, to reduce the barriers for carers accessing service in their local community. We hear so often that people are travelling such long distances for hospitals and medical appointments and services outside of their town. So we're thinking even if we can just bring a few of those to people to provide a little bit of respite, that's the aim.
So where's Wanda been?
Wanda at the moment is on her way back from Roma, so the one in Queensland.
In Queensland, yeah.
The Wanda in New South Wales has been through Toowoomba and the Nepean Blue Mountains. They've started by doing a lot of kind of activities and introducing the van alongside other organisations, so Headspaces, Relationships Australia.
Great.
So going in with partners and being able to share those experiences and be able to provide other services too, because that's a huge part of what we do as well. So the Carergateway provides a number of services. So we do in-person peer support, counselling, coaching, financial support, emotional support. But we also have a lot of partners who have expertise in other areas. So be it Dementia Australia, be it Walk and Talk, supporting mental health carers, Clarity Health, they also do mental health counselling as well. And then we've got Little Dreamers who support young carers. We have Kookaburra Kids as well who support young mental health carers up north.
That's nice.
So it's just specialising in those, nuanced caring roles where we can.
So your partners are jumping into the Wanda with you and hitting the remote areas.
Yes.
So in the months since the Wanda vans have hit the road, where have they been?
I'll start with where Wanda's been at the moment through Queensland. So Wanda started, she left Brisbane and she went up through the Sunshine Coast, spent half a day in Gympie at a local park, just a big skate park, supporting young carers. We had a really good opportunity to meet 32 young carers that day,
Wow,
which
that's
was
great.
Very cool. And these were amazing kids and obviously kids and teenagers. And one of the things we really did recognise is they're so open to talking about their story.
And it's a huge role at such a young age to take on. So after that, you stopped in for events in Mackay, Maryborough and Hervey Bay, right?
When we were at Maryborough, we set up at some evening markets that are on once a month there, just trying to capture a broader community. And we set up lots of kind of games and colouring for kids, but then we also had the sausage sizzle and the drinks and lots of brochures.
Yeah, wow.
So it was just a good way to interact with community. But I remember something in particular. There was these two sisters that were there, and they were asking us about the van and where we'd been. And one of them just said, "Oh, I've just got to go take my needle, my diabetes needle." And her sister said, "Oh my gosh, am I her carer?" I was like, "Well, yes, you may well be."
Yeah.
And then her sister turned around and said, "You absolutely are. You're the one who phones the ambulance when my blood sugar goes low. You're the one who reminds me to take it." She's like, "You are."
It's such a simple phrase, isn't it? I am a carer, whether it be for
Absolutely.
your mum, your grandmother, your brother, sister, your mum and dad.
Yes, yeah. It can even be, in many instances, it's a sibling or a neighbour. Can be as simple as that. But so many people take on those additional responsibilities out of love, wanting to do it. But there are also, there are supports there for them as well. So that was Maryborough, and then we headed to Hervey Bay. And in Hervey Bay, we stopped at a park called All Abilities. I've never seen a playground like it. And it was after school, so we set up a sausage sizzle and we just put a big sign up saying, free community barbecue, come and have a chat. We set the Wanda van up, so we had lots and lots of shade and big buckets of icy cold drinks for the kids. And so many people dropped by to say hi. But there was a beautiful family that came along with 3 young kids. So they had sausages and we had lots of chats, and it did turn out that the young ones were caring for each other.
Yeah.
But it was really lovely to be able to, I don't mean just acknowledge what the young people had been through, but to give them their own kind of like role in supporting, that they're so incredibly valuable. And what they're doing for each other is, a little bit beyond just a sibling relationship.
So Wanda now has the ability to reach these remote regions and communities.
Yes.
What does a day out in the Wanda look like?
So Wanda will be set up somewhere that's really accessible for people. So it could be a local playground. It might be out the front of a library. It might be near a community centre. For example, in Hervey Bay, we pulled up in front of the beach.
Yep.
So wherever people are at, they'll have the opportunity to have a chat to Wellways carergateway team members, and they will be able to provide a number of services. So not only information about carergateway and how to register and engage in a planning conversation, but also, services that are in the community. So one of the really important things that our Wanda workers do is they will get to know the communities that they're going into.
Great.
So that they can also refer out to other services.
So they have the information before they hit local towns.
Absolutely.
Yes. They will then know how to really provide that care for people when they get there.
Yes. And they'll also, more often than not, invite along a couple of local service providers to work out of Wanda alongside carergateway for the day. And what that does again is it just makes it a one-stop shop for people. Wanda was recently in Roma, so central Queensland, and one of the things that carers have requested is that maybe we go out and we take My Aged Care or an NDIS representative out with us next time, so they can just answer all the questions that the local community has, and then meanwhile we can be sharing information about carergateway.
It's just a really welcoming way for people to come and get the information and access they may not get, like people who live in metro cities, isn't it?
Absolutely. And look, we're not naive. We can't deliver every single thing we'd be able to do in a metro area. But what we can do, and what Wellways does really well, is partnering with other organisations and other community services and promoting them. Because first and foremost, you want to be able to support people to have those longer term supports in community.
If people want to find out where the Wanda's going to be, how can they do it?
Yeah, so if you can jump on the Wellways website, there will be a list of where Wanda will be and what dates she'll be travelling around.
It's such a great service, isn't it? And I think it's just tapping into the important thing which is is meeting carers where they are.
Absolutely. It's not on the carer to come and find us. It's up to us as an organisation and a carer gateway to find the carer.
Now, as a little bit of a teaser for the end of this podcast series, we will touch on the national plan and what's going to be happening. So we won't go too hard on that, but it is an exciting time.
It is.
Because it isn't just Queensland and New South Wales. There are further things coming, and I can't wait for that. Thank you for joining us to chat about the Wanda. It's such an exciting time for you guys to be doing this, and you're doing such great work. So it's incredible to hear the impact it's having.
Thank you. We enjoy it very much.
It's been an absolute delight to speak with Alfina and Louise in the studio today, hearing both about the challenges of remote and regional carers and the amazing services that Wellways is introducing to help reduce those barriers. To hear more carer stories, subscribe to Tune Into Care on your favourite podcast platform or streaming service. Carer Gateway is an Australian government initiative. If you're a carer in need of support, call Wellways Carer Gateway on 1800 422 737. I'm Billy Bentley. Thank you for listening, and thank you for all that you do.